Here.
Locked and loaded.
From left to right on your screen, in lane 1 is St. Andrews, lane 2 is St. Peter's Prep, lane 3 is St. Joe's Prep, lane 4 is Montclair, lane 5 is Jackson Reed, and in lane 6 is Washington and Liberty.
So just a little bit of information. This event was first run in 1981 and won by the Prep, and the last 2 years won by the Prep.
Looks like all boats are sitting ready. Again, St. Andrews, St. Peter's, St. Joe's, Montclair, Jackson Reed, Washington and Liberty, and they are off. Looks like a good start over the first couple strokes for the Montclair team.
And you can see the chase launches.
Yeah, that, one of the things that I really find interesting, and maybe the lane 4 is set up in an interesting way. That stake boat is a little bit on the inside of that lane, and then those coxswains have to get back across to avoid the abutment here. As you can see right there, that lane 4 kind of in an interesting spot early on, and kind of creates a bit of a steering question there for those lane 4 boats. As you can see now, Montclair starts to turn back and get their point straight. But as they come out, it is St. Joe's Prep, followed by Montclair. St. Peter's sits in 3rd, followed by St. Andrews, then Jackson Reed and Washington Liberty in 6th. But a really beautiful shot here as St. Joe's Prep begins to move away from St. Peter's and Montclair. Again, this is a top 3 places to the final. So our lead 3 boats, St. Joe's, Montclair, St. Peter's Prep. We'll see if any of these other teams can have anything to say about that.
Yeah, nice shot of the 8s here. I always love looking at the 8s just because of the speed that comes out of each of these boats. I mean, it's just, it's always fun, especially down like to the wire when you have connection between at least. I mean, again, we talked about it yesterday. I would love to see connection between 6 boats going across under the wire and just seeing like who can really like dog it out and come out on top. Right now, again, St. Joe's Prep is leading the pack here, but it does look like there's connection between the rest of the crews, at least between your 2nd through 4th place positions here.
Yeah, Jackson Reed made a nice push to kind of stay involved in this one as they hit just around 750 meters in this race, maybe a little less with approaching halfway to go. Here it is. You can see St. Joe's Prep. St. Peter's Prep sits in 2nd, and Montclair looks to be drifting back into 3rd as they fight off this Jackson Reed boat. Again, only 3 spots available. Looks like St. Andrews there, also not out of it just yet, still within connection to the lane 2 2nd place St. Peter's Prep boat. So just a length separating 2nd and 5th at the moment as St. Joe's Prep opens water on St. Peter's Prep.
And out of that time trial, St. Joe's Prep pulled a 4:29, and then followed by your Montclair boat. That's going to be your 2nd fastest, pulled a 4:43.8, and then 3rd St. Peter's Prep pulling at 4:45. And so right now what we're seeing sending that 2nd place position is that St. Peter's Prep. So we are seeing a little shakeup out of the time trial with St. Peter's leading Montclair.
Yeah, and as you were speaking, Maurice, it does look like St. Andrews has overtaken Montclair for that 3rd place spot. Jackson Reed also just starting to fall off the pace a little bit. So now with St. Peter's Prep moving about 8 seats in front of St. Andrews and Montclair, the race for 3rd heats up. And again, only 3 spots available in the grand final as St. Joe's Prep is now moving well away. They have a boat length of open water under the wire, and this St. Peter's crew looking strong here with about a length lead on 3rd and 4th. And that race for 3rd and 4th is incredibly tight. St. Andrews and Montclair, and Jackson Reed just about 4 seats down on Montclair, not out of it yet. Let's see if they can make one final push to get into the final. But again, this is a pretty tight race. We're seeing Washington Liberty at the moment just off the pace.
Yeah, exactly. St. Joe's Prep, it seems to be they have opened up the field between the rest of the pack. I mean, no surprise. Again, I mean, between the 1st and 2nd place position was about 10 seconds between. And there goes
Jackson Reed. There goes Jackson Reed in lane 5. They're starting to make that move, and they're starting to pull even with that Montclair boat. So now we have 3 boats just about even here competing for 1 spot in the final. St. Joe's Prep out in front. That's the lead boat that you see on your screen right now. Jackson Reed's in the green on the left-hand side. Montclair in the blue. We do not see St. Peter's, who we know to be in second, and St. Andrews in lane 1 there in red. And the cheers of Montclair go up from the stadium. But it is Jackson Reed here. Jackson Reed exiting the island in third in front of both Montclair and St. Andrews. They were 4 seats down, maybe 6 seats down even on Montclair heading into the final 500. But as they enter the final 100, it is Jackson Reed taking that third place spot as St. Joe's Prep clinches first, and they will head to the final. Here's St. Peter's Prep. They finish in second. The race for third crystallizes in front of us here, and it is Jackson Reed, St. Andrews, Montclair. What a great push.
That was a good race.
By Jackson
Reed. That was a well played push into that in that last 400 meters of the race. Jackson Reed just walked on through to get themselves in that position, and you know they trusted themselves. The coxswain trusted. You know they trusted the calls, and they came out in one of those qualifying spots into the grand final.
Yeah, great race by Jackson Reed, pushing on that final 500 again, 1,500 meters.